Evolution was pretty much out of the high school science curriculum until the early 1960s. What happened was in the late 50s, in 1958, the Sputniks beat us to space, beat the United States to space by putting up the first artificial satellite, the first Sputnik. And this just scared the bejesus out of the American government. Why did the Russians beat the most powerful nation on Earth into space? We've got to beef up our science research, and our science education. Would that those days come again. And so the federal government poured tons of money into science education, one component of which was writing new science textbooks. And these science textbooks in physics and geology and chemistry and biology were all written by professional scientists and master teachers. And when the biology team took a look at what it was passing for biology textbooks, they basically chucked them out, wrote brand new books that stressed inquiry learning, that included evolution, which was totally removed, included human reproduction. Oh my. And such things as ecology. What a radical thought. And these books became very popular. Other commercial publishers began to clone them, and evolution came back into the science textbooks by approximately the mid to the late 1960s. Well, what this did was stimulate a new form of creationism. And there was one more component to that stimulation, and this was a challenge that was brought in 1968 by the Arkansas Education Association, because one of their books that they had just bought for high school biology teachers to use included evolution, but Arkansas had one of these anti-evolution laws, just like John Scopes had been tried under in 1925. And so they thought, well, let's just tidy up the state law, because this is obviously a silly law. Who would, who in 1968 would think of banning evolution? What a silly idea. But this was a conflict. Should teachers teach what was in the textbook, or should they follow the law and skip those pages? So they brought suit, and Susan Epperson was a high school teacher at the time who was the plaintiff in this case. And what happened was, much to their amazement, this case went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled in a case called Epperson versus Arkansas that laws like John Scopes had been tried under, the laws that banned the teaching of evolution, were unconstitutional. So that made things considerably easier.